بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب زدني علما.
Next thing, we'll quickly see the heading part. Now, if you see there is a heading here, this is heading plays a very important role while you are creating this one. I hope you know this context or table of contents. Now, this table of contents will be automatically displayed based on the heading settings. So if you see, it's not possible to write down all these things, right? And also these page numbers will keep on change every time you add a new content in between normally. So practically that is not possible. So that's where the heading plays a role. So whenever you start your heading, when you select this heading, type down, and here you can see the options here on the top. You can see the heading 1, heading 2. These are the headings, how they look. So there are predefined headings, heading 1, heading 2. So if you don't want the same style, what I'll do is I'll go and change this heading style, like right click, modify. And then I want this heading to be in a different font, let's say Lato black font. And the size should be somewhat bigger. And the color should be in red. And it should be also underlined. And this is what I want. And then click OK. That's it. Now, wherever you select the text and select this heading, automatically that particular text will change into that setting. And this will be useful while creating the content, this table of contents. Because whenever you create this table of content, whatever you write in that heading, that will come automatically under that. Like that, when you are creating multiple topics, because when you're documenting, you're not going to do just one single topic, right? So it shows you what are the different headings you created. And of course, when you while you are referring, this will be useful for you. Especially you can see here, when I click on this, upload the SD1 Viptala images, you can see that is a heading, and then that is where I jump directly. So while you are referring, you can easily move between those topics. That's the advantage for you. And for the students, the advantage is they can always refer this table of content to directly jump to that particular page and directly get to that particular page. That's the advantage again. Because if you don't have the table of content, then that will be a little bit very difficult, especially when your documentation is more than 100 pages. It's not an easy job. And of course, we disable the search button as well, because we convert this document into PDF in an image format later on. That's something might be more difficult for the students to do these things. Okay, so this heading plays a big role in creating this table of content. So what I'll do is I'll quickly add few notes from this one. And next continuation, I'll also create the table of content as well, assuming we created the content. Let me just copy some content from here. Shift and page down button I'm using. So I'm selecting multiple content, so that assuming that we already created this content and all. And then I'm going to paste in the last, let's say this is where I want. Control plus enter moves you to the next page. That's a shortcut for that. So I'm going to paste. Now this is my content. But if you see the content I created, and you can see these are the headings, the same settings you can see. All the headings will have the same settings. Even though I'm moving this from here, I have a different font style I have used here. But as I move to another document, it automatically uses these headings. If you want, you can change headings as well, styles in the future. If you want to modify, you can modify from here as well. Now, once you do this, the next thing is I want to create a table of content. So whenever you create a table of content, always make sure that you leave some space or a couple of pages for that. I did not leave. So I'll add some text, and I will say, I'll press Control plus Enter. I'll use a couple of pages. I'll leave it. One page I will use for the image. If you see the first page, I have one image design in the Photoshop, and which gives a cover page kind of thing. I'll copy this image, or you can insert the image from the insert button. Click on insert and select the cover pages. So cover pages will be different. It will be in more kind of rectangular. Let me see courses cover pages. So I got multiple cover pages created here, and I'm going to add any one of those. So this is the cover page, which displays normally on the first page. You can drag this a little bit if you want. It's up to you. You can drag these things and adjust accordingly. Now the second page, always I want to be displayed with the table of content. Now how to create that? You just need to go and say insert. There is not insert. I think it should be somewhere in the design. References. Go to references. Inside the references, the option will be there. So when you go to references and there is an option on the left side, table of content, just click, and whatever the style you want, you can select. Normally, I don't go with much varieties. I just go with the first one. Simple, done. You can see, did I add this content here? No. So the table of content automatically comes based on the heading what you select. This one, this heading. So remember, there is an option of heading. When you click, when you select this tool and go to home button, there is a heading option we created previously. According to that, this will come. Okay, so make sure that when you are writing the text, this text is not using the heading style, because the problem is if you just go and type from here, so you can see the font style comes here. But what happens here is when you go back and update this table, update the entire table, so that new text also will come here as an heading. So this is something you have to keep in mind. Whenever you are setting up any text, make sure that that particular text is not using the heading style. It is using this style. So you can always change this. You can change any one of this. Like you can say, okay, this is something, the text, you want the complete text to apply this specific settings, you can apply from here. Select the text and apply. So you can use this predefined settings, and you can create and select the text and apply the settings according to that. Like this text, I want this style. This text, I want like this. You can add. But that's a title, subtitle. Always check. It should not be heading or titles. It should be a normal text. So this is the option, and from here you know how to do. I'm not teaching you how to type or how to add the notes and all those stuff. I hope you know those things. And whatever the images, let's say if you want to add any images or diagrams, what you draw. Let's say you have added one problem in a paint. You have created one sum. Let's assume this is your mathematics sum or diagram what you created inside the paint. Now you want to take this, you can just take a screenshot. Print screen button will be there on the keyboard, or you can use Alt press print screen. This will only print screen this particular window only. Alt plus print screen, and you can paste. I don't want to make any changes in my document, and I'll go to this sample document, and inside my sample document, now this document here, I want to add the image here. So you can paste here. Control V is a shortcut, or right click and paste. You can see here, and you can crop this one because you don't want this border lines comes. When you select this image, there will be a crop button. Click on this crop button and you can crop these images, whatever the extent you want. Let's say up to here, you can add this. So this is what you see. The same thing, whatever the screenshots you can see here, these are all the screenshots. That's how I took. These are all the screenshots of my screen. And this is kind of a visual them to understand, because you cannot write each and everything in steps. Even if you write a paragraph, no one will read, but this visual will give a proper idea that what he exactly has to do. If you have that problem solved, or if you have the diagram, or if you have that steps, if you're teaching computers or networks, generally we follow some steps. If you have those screenshots, that will make more comfortable for the students to understand and follow the steps instead of writing lengthy notes. Okay, so I do this way. So this is something you can also do, adding the images and the screenshots or any images from the internet also the same way. Copy paste the images. Now there are some other options, like you can highlight some few things. Like here, let's say this is my workbook. I want to highlight some text. Let's say very less you'll find some notes. Let's say this is the something I want to highlight. Like in my things, what I'll do is I'll highlight some outputs. So I want them to see some output and understand this one. So I can select the text. There is an highlight option. Different colors you can use. Normally, mostly we use yellow. But if you want to highlight two different things, then you can use two different colors for that. That is one kind of highlighting option. When you're writing some paragraph, few important points you may want to highlight. And finally, printing. Printing, again, the same thing. You want to secure this document. Again, the same like we did in a PowerPoint. We just go to File and Print. And from here, again, you will use Universal Document Controller software, which I'll be sharing on a Google Drive. So probably use that option. Again, we don't use this print option because, again, the normal print or the PDF print or Adobe print options, whatever you use, they are not protected. Means you still search. You can still search. If you want, you can do that as well. I'm not stopping you from that. But if you want to be more secure and make sure that no one make any changes, you can always use this option and print it down. Once you click on print, there will be options to print. Let me discuss. I think I missed the different options to print. In this, there will be different options here. If you go to print properties, you can print them in the form of images or PDF file. Normally, it will be default PDF file. And you can also add some watermarks here as well, but I don't use. But mostly I use either, sometimes I want to print them in the form of a PDF, or sometimes I want to print one page as an image. You can select the image option as well, JPG or PDF. Default will be PDF, so I select the PDF document. Adjustments you can add, like cropping the borders. You can do that. Or apply the watermark. These all options I don't use because already we have added the watermark inside the Word itself. Okay, fine. So that's all the options what I want you to know while creating the documentations. Again, here I'm not teaching you the MS Office options. I expect you to know some basic copy paste MS Office options. So I've just shared a few things you need to keep in mind while documentations. That gives a good presentation on how to utilize or how to create your own documentations and how you can make it more efficient.